everyone to the NIU Naperville Campus Leadership Conference, our annual leadership conference. Very excited to have everyone out here. I'm here to introduce to you Nic Zito, who's going to be your keynote speaker today. I'm Mr. Boyer. I run Extreme Comfort at St. Charles High School. All right, so excuse me if this is the first time I'm reading his bio just now. I was just assigned to this duty. So here's a little background about Mr. Zito here. He likes the intersection of public policy and entrepreneurship. Recently honored as the youngest winner of Top 20 Business Professionals under age 40, currently he runs Rev3 Innovation Center, a mixed-use business incubator located in DuPage County, Illinois. He houses over 24 startup companies in the tech and manufacturing realms. As an undergrad in college, he founded a fitness nutrition company based in San Francisco and Chicago called Protein Enterprises. Prior to that, he worked in the United States Senate in Washington, D.C. With the office of Senator Mark Kirk during his 2012 presidential election in the national capital. He performed legislative research and attended committee briefings centered in small areas of business, entrepreneurship, job creation, finance, and economic affairs. He recently won an Entrepreneurial Excellence Award in the category of Outstanding Service to Entrepreneurs. Prior to his county appointment, he graduated from University of Illinois, Champaign-Urbana, having studied consumer economics specializing in public policy and law. You connect with him at niczito.com. Let's give them all a very warm welcome.
Morning, guys. How's everyone doing? So this is fun. I'm happy to be here. It's kind of funny. As he introduced me, most of my interactions on a daily basis are with people twice my age. And I'm sure most of your speakers are usually a bit older. So this is fun. I like interacting with this age demographic, college and high school students. I'm really passionate about teaching entrepreneurship. I've started a couple companies. So it's exciting for me to see the next generation of companies that are being started. So as he introduced me, my name is Nic Zito. Currently I'm the Business Services Director for Choose DuPage. So I'm employed by DuPage County. I do business development for 39 cities here in DuPage, and I run Rev3. So we'll talk about that in a bit later and go over some of my background. And then I also want to find out what you guys are doing. So I want to make this interactive. I mean, again, in high school and college, I can remember sitting in front of some talks and being bored. This is a long talk. I want to make it interactive. I will leave some time for Q&A at the end, but please feel free to raise your hand, interrupt me, let's have a discussion. Again, I want to find out what you guys are working on. So with that being said, I like to start all my talks. I want to turn around and get everyone in a selfie really quick. So on three, and actually it's going to be a video, so on three, clap or wave or say hi. Ready? 1, 2, 3. That's something I can do since I'm in plenty of. All right, as the rest of the people are coming in, kind of go over what I'm going to talk about today. So, as the title states, you guys are actually the first group that I told this to. I'm going to be starting a podcast soon, and the title is going to be called Me LLC. Me LLC means, again, in this day and age, solopreneurs are people who can start companies by themselves and kind of be everything, meaning they're the marketer, they're the CEO, they're the sales officer, they're the HR person, they do everything. So the people that I interact with on a daily basis are kind of fit into this solopreneur niche. If they run their companies themselves, they handle all the hiring and other decisions as well. So that's where that name comes from. The second part of the title, How to Become a CEO, that is actually my title on my business card. It stands for Chief Entrepreneur Officer. Again, in this day and age mobile workforce, people can work from anywhere. And I've seen many examples of people start companies either from their home, from a co-working space like I run, and really build it into something successful. So I'll try to highlight a couple of those examples as well. So before I go over the outline today, first of all, we have different ages in here, right? All different ages. Is there any freshmen? Sophomores? Juniors? Seniors? Awesome. Okay, cool. Good you guys are getting a start. So the outline for today. Again, I couldn't stand to speak for lectures and have not any takeaways, so this is what I'm going to be talking about today. On the left, I wrote an article on public speaking. These are kind of my top 5 tips for public speaking, meaning this is every time you hear a talk, what you should kind of be coming away with. So tangibly outline, again, we're going to go over my outline so you know what I'm talking about. 2, don't talk at them. Again, I want to make this a discussion, so please feel free to chip in. 3rd, make it personal. Again, I'm going to tell a lot of stories, tangibly speaking, of what I've done, what I've seen, and that goes both ways. Care about the topic. Obviously, as you guys see, this is something I'm passionate about. I love business, I love public policy, I love government, and I love how it intersects with entrepreneurship. So I think that makes an interesting mix. And number 5, again, we will do Q&A at the end, but feel free to ask some questions ahead of time. So, who the heck am I and why am I here talking? So I kind of did a quick outline of what I was doing when I was you guys' age. I went to St. Francis in Wheaton. I was in clubs, I played 3 sports, I did student government. I volunteered at a local homeless shelter to tutor GED and a battered women's shelter to tutor women preparing for their GED. You'll see why I'm saying this later. So point being, I tried a lot of different things. You can see the last bullet point, I had no business experience. I think I took maybe 1 econ class. So again, what you guys are doing, being involved in this, already networking, attending events like this, meeting people from different high schools, that's an awesome skill that will help you all going forward. On the right to college, again, I went to University of Illinois. I studied econ and public policy. I had the life plan, I was going to be a lawyer, so I took my LSAT while I was an undergrad. If anyone is thinking about doing that, I'm glad that I didn't, only because I talked to current lawyers, so again, you'll see why I'm bringing this up later, but I tried all my interests, I tried a lot of different things, so I really honed in on what I wanted to do, what I was good at, and what I enjoyed doing. So again, I was involved in student clubs, I was on the executive board of Big Brothers Big Sisters as a mentor. I was in pre-law club, again, trying to get that networking experience. Club sports, I played club sports in school. I started my first company when I was an undergrad, which I'll talk a little bit more about in another slide. But so point being, I tried a bunch of different things. Also, right after graduation is when I did take my LSAT, because again, I still had that life plan. I thought I was going to come back, apply to law school, do 3 years of law school, and then maybe come out and be a corporate lawyer. Again, not really knowing the entrepreneurial side would kick in until I started my first company and had, number 1, a really good time, number 2, a little bit of success, and number 3, I learned a lot. Okay, so this is a little bit, I wanted to outline a couple of things from a couple of my first companies that I started. Again, the one on the left, you can tell by the name, that's why I started it. Coming from a college atmosphere, I'm sure a couple of guys in the room know what that name means, like the name. It was a branding and marketing play. So I went through a trademark process, I secured that trademark, again with the legal background, I'm thinking that's what I wanted to end up doing. I did all the legal background on the company, incorporated, made my LLCs, hired people. One of the best things I did is I established a really cool little intern network. So I had about 10 interns at 5 different Big Ten college campuses and wrote sales commission contracts. So everyone was kind of incentivized to go out and be reps and sell on campus. And again, networking, you're going to hear that's probably one of my biggest themes. Through doing this, I was in Florida and California doing trade shows, networking, meeting people in the industry, because I never claimed to be, this was a fitness nutrition product, so it was an actual consumable. We made and formulated 4 flavors of protein bars, whey protein isolate. I'm not a scientist, I'm not a physiology major, so I partnered with people who were. We partnered with a local bakery and science dietetic firm. So we went through about 20 different iterations, point being every time I went back I learned something new and kept trying. The outcome was we launched with those 4 flavors. We had some apparel, some other things like that. And aside from being fun, it was actually fairly successful too. In about the first 8 months, I shipped orders from only e-commerce. I was in about 6 to 7 small stores at the time, no big PNC or chains or anything. But I shipped orders from my website to 46 states and 13 countries. So again, crazy example of how, I was a college kid, no experience, no business, never did it in high school, was just interested in it. I always had the idea, I thought it'd be kind of funny to make a product with that name, make it all natural, and try to sell it to, fraternities and fast-paced, college kids who were going from class to the bars to work library to the gym. So again, point being, you have to try things. It might fail, but you like that, right? It's fun. So the other good thing that we did is social media marketing. So we use something called influencer-based marketing, which is how I got my idea for my next company. This means we partnered with, again, if any you guys in the room follow any fitness personalities or anything like that on YouTube, I partnered with some of those guys to do product placement in their YouTube videos, and a couple of their YouTube videos got 300,000, 400,000 views. I would have a link back embedded in the YouTube site to my website, and then had sales to my e-commerce site from that. So again, out of all the things on the left, the best part was I didn't become an expert in any one of those things, but I had some really broad-based knowledge to kind of go forward from that. On the right, this is one of my newer companies. I kind of made mention of this. This is an influencer-based marketing agency. My idea was, you see, raise your hand, how many people in the room use or are familiar with Vine, the app Vine that Twitter owns? Okay, good, so almost everyone. I love Vine. I followed it from when it came out, from when Twitter purchased it. And the interesting thing was, I was able to look at that app as more than just a fun social media 6-second looping video of people being idiots on film or whatever it is, and I saw a clear delineation to when it turns to a business model. Meaning, again, if any of you guys followed it and saw some of the big Vine celebrities all of a sudden holding a bottle of water or a computer in their Vine and doing product placement in their Vine, so I kind of saw that, and it was interesting to me. After they introduced the concept of loops, you can see how many people were watching these from a marketing perspective, how many eyeballs were on your product, your Vine. Point being, I thought it would be a really interesting opportunity. Lo and behold, then a Forbes article comes out that says the highest paid Vine celebrities and Vine stars make $30,000 per sponsored 6-second video, just for, again, getting these products in front of these eyeballs. On a per-second basis, Vine, and more broadly than Vine, social media stars in general are making they make more money and have a higher earning potential per second than the highest paid actor in the world, Robert Downey Jr. So again, when you break it down per second, they spend an hour making one video, and they're making a yearly salary. So my idea with this company on the right is to do influencer-based marketing, but kind of cut out the middleman and not have big companies involved, and do it on a one-to-one basis. So meaning, it would kind of be promoted and sponsored content on different platforms. So for example, if you had a favorite celebrity or star that you follow on Twitter or Vine, you can actually pay to have a place to tweet with them, a retweet of your product. You can use it for self-promotion. You could use it to wish someone, I don't know, happy birthday or anything like that. So point being, there's a market in these growing niche audiences. That's something to pay attention to. And like Vine, there's going to be 5 more of these apps, before the time that some of you guys are out of college. So pay attention to some of these up and coming things. So through this company, again, kind of the same in the social media sphere. Again, I'm not an expert in any one of these fields, but I had to do everything myself. So I had to learn everything. Again, went through the legal incorporation, worked with attorneys. I sold the majority of the first company about 2 years ago, so I'm actually not still involved on a daily basis. And I was able to sell a portion of it. So I learned how to raise angel investment money, how to raise private equity, venture capital money, how to complete a sale. So again, all of these things that then build up to where I am now. So when I'm mentoring my 24 companies, I can actually not just speak theoretically, I can tell them what I did when I was in that situation. Also, for popular mentions, we're exploring licensing, we're beta testing new apps. Again, I'm writing these commission contracts, so I'm actually paying some of these social media stars when they're in a beta test profile. So very, very broad-based knowledge. So through all that, I want to kind of get into right of the meat of the presentation. Through my experience in high school and college and those first 2 companies, and again, now that I've worked with 25 different startup entities, I want to kind of go through what I call my top 5 tips for high school and college students interested in business leadership. So again, as I'm going through this, please feel free to jump in and ask me a question. Obviously, the disclaimer is this is just personal. This is what I think, but I think you guys could get some good value out of this. So number 1, again, you heard me talk a lot about experience, getting out there and try. That's why in parentheses, the first 2 things say try. Find out what you like, find out what you dislike. And do not discount the second part. Finding out what you dislike is absolutely, it's actually more important than knowing what you like. Again, point being in high school, that's why I did all these different clubs. That's why I had different internships. Again, most of my experience is local government, so I worked on campaigns. I had some sales jobs, so I found out that I like being in front of people. I like talking face to face. I like talking about marketing and sales distribution. So really, by the time you get into college, still okay if you don't know this, but you should really formulate it so by the time that you come out, you can have your pick of employer and kind of identify the niche and industry that you guys want to go after. Again, the only way to find these two is to try a broad base of things. You don't want to regret. This is really important for me too, and again, you guys will see this. I don't want to sound old, like an old person is saying this, but the worst thing in the world is now that I've been out of college a couple of years, a lot of my peers, a lot of my friends that I went to high school and college with, they have their first job and they hate it, and they tell me that they hate it, and that's the worst feeling in the world. You want to like what you do. I like waking up and working with startups and working with my companies every morning. So I mean, really, that's the only way that you're going to tell. It's not the worst thing in the world to have a job, have an internship for 6 months a year, find out that you don't like it, but also take the parts that you do like from it. So again, maybe some of you guys are interested in sales. You don't like to seem too pushy or selling to people, but you like talking to people. Maybe you would be good at communications or public relations or something like that. So again, it comes down to try everything. I guess I would also recommend literally make a pros con list. Make a list of your top 10 dream jobs, your top 10 niches that you like doing. Are you organized? Are you not organized? I'll use myself as an example. I am not a planner. I'm not a day-to-day detail person. I'm a more long-term thinker, so I hire someone who is good at being organized to help me. So you really have to have that base before you come out of college, because again, the worst thing in the world is to wake up 10 years, 15 years, 20 years from now and absolutely hate what you're doing. And again, how do you do that? Internships, volunteer. I'll talk a little bit about mentorship in a little bit. Pick out companies or people that you like or respect and reach out to them. Again, it might take 10 to 20 different reach outs to different people, but try to land something. Try to land a cool internship, and then you can pick qualities from that job or that person that you like. Number two, again, you have to start. And this goes back, again, I'll use myself as an example. When I was an undergrad, I went from, hey, thinking it was a cool idea, talking to some of my buddies about it, to starting in maybe a month and a half. And again, I was scared. I had no idea what I was doing. I didn't know how to file an LLC. I didn't know how to pay sales tax to the Secretary of State of Illinois or the IRS or anything like that. But again, you have to learn. You have to teach yourself these different things. That's sometimes the best way. So you can either get this from mentorship, from, again, shadowing someone that you respect. You might have to volunteer to do it for free, but this is how you learn. Don't glorify failure, but fail fast. Lean model. Everyone in here probably knows what the lean model canvas is, or lean model, I assume. Raise your hand if you know what the lean startup method is. Come on, no? I'll go over it in a little. We're actually going to do a live demo of it, but basically, I'm sure you guys hear it all the time. It's kind of an entrepreneurial myth that people always preach failure. I kind of take a different view. I say, if you are going to fail fast. That's fine. And at the bottom, I have a quote from Mark Cuban when I saw him speak in Chicago. He says, you only have to be right once. So he used the example of he owned a bar when he was at IU as an undergrad. Then he started a computer company that made him $1 million. Then he sold broadcast.com to Yahoo that made him $1 billion. So that's what you hear about. But in between, he did 50 other things that no one ever hears about. So again, don't be afraid to fail. It sucks. It's not fun. No one thinks it's fun. I don't think it's fun. But it's going to happen. It's the nature of the game. So again, don't glorify it. Don't dwell on it. But pull out those things that you did well or bad from it and move on. Again, sweat equity. Cost of starting are low or non-existent. The two companies that I mentioned, I spent a little money for my web domain, for my email, and my hosting, which comes out to maybe $20 a month at max, $15, $20 a month at max. I'm not a tech guy, I'm not a coder, but I programmed one of the websites myself just from teaching myself WordPress development. Again, even if you want to hire someone for that, you can do that for a couple $100. So the point being, to anyone with an idea in the room, you can actually test it in a 2 to 3 month time frame for, again, under $100, 80, 500, depending if you have to do some legal work or secure an IP or a patent. So really check into that. On that topic, raise your hand has anyone in the room actually started a company, product, or business? Started something, launched something? One in the back. What's your company in the back? Where did you start?
Well, Bill, a long time ago, like last year, about me and my friends, we launched this clothing company. It was trying to call center. We were going to try to promote it through Twitter, and just like getting more adoption because of our social media base was not large.
Awesome. So you tried it. How long did you try it before you gave up on it?
It took about a couple of months for us to realize that it's best to just move on to go on with another idea.
Awesome. Yeah, that's awesome. And I'm sure you could say, again, you learned a lot, you learned what not to do, and maybe you could reform it for next time. Who hasn't? Oh, she's calling you out. What's your idea? Where did you start?
My aunt and I started a shoe bag company for the city.
Cool. So do you actually produce the bags, or do you just distribute them?
They're produced in Brooklyn, and I'm trying to get on the Station Center.
Cool. Awesome. How long have you been doing that?
3 months.
Cool. Cool. Anyone else actually launched? What about who has an idea? I know hopefully some more hands will go up for this. Who wants to start something maybe before you're even out of high school? What's your idea?
I want to get into green technologies, solar panels, wind turbines, everything. So for low-income areas, you can regenerate power.
Cool. Awesome.
Me and my sister kind of have an idea going around where we might try to start getting more like the social media and YouTube and stuff like that.
What's the idea?
Just seeing like if we can kind of what you're doing with the having like product placements and like videos and stuff like that, trying to see what we can find and stuff like that.
Point B, start. If you don't have an idea now, pay attention to some of these different niches. I mean, again, I know I have 2 phones. I'm on my phone all day long. I know you guys have like that as well. So pay attention to some of these things and recognize them for more than just a fun way to waste some time. Like you said with your YouTube idea, there's a lot of business opportunities in them. Number 3, seek mentorship. This is a big one. When I saw Mark Cuban speak, one of his top tips was you don't need a mentor, you have to do everything yourself, because he values really learning everything by yourself. I'm essentially in the middle. I've had a couple mentors, nothing too set, but I would highly recommend it. So again, meaning, what's the way to do this? You have to get out there, you have to grind, you have to hustle, you have to identify either 10 people or 10 companies, whether it's a dad's friend or someone that you meet at one of these events. Reach out to them, send them an email, give them your card, their card, and ask for some help. But one of my bullets says, don't just take, you have to offer something too. So maybe you say, hey, I enjoyed talking to you at so-and-so event. I remember you had an idea for this. I had a couple suggestions that maybe you could pursue. Again, it goes both ways. Surround yourself with positive role models. Again, I'm a big fan of the first bullet. You're the average of 5 people that you hang around with most. Again, hang around with successful people, network with successful people, get ideas from them, and it's the best if you can get people in different industries. So again, like I mentioned, I am not a tech guy, I'm not too technically proficient. I hang around with a lot of very smart, they might not be good salespeople or good product people, but they're the back-end people who can make a lot of these projects. They're iOS or Android programmers. So again, pick different niches and have a broad base. Don't just take, offer advice and help too. Again, making a good relationship. Keep in contact. Don't just hit them up one time and get one piece of advice and then kind of let it die. Again, this is a fine line. You don't want to come off as annoying. all successful people are busy. But keep in contact with them. Maybe it's a lunch, maybe it's a coffee, maybe it's a Skype, maybe it's an email. Check in. Ask them how they're doing. Tell them about something that you're working on. They'll like that. They'll appreciate that. And anyone who is at any level of success enjoys going back and helping. It's fun. Again, take multiple qualities from different mentors. So again, if you're not a tech person, find some tech. If you're, for whoever was talking about the green manufacturing, I don't know if you're an engineer, talk to people who are proficient at 3D printing, injection molding. Again, something I'm not proficient in, but now we actually have a couple of members who are doing some wind turbines. So they have taught me how to 3D print and go through some of that stuff. So again, you don't have to be an expert in it, but learn a couple of things very, very broad-based. Number 4, again, this is what I've been saying, network, network, network. Make friends, learn, and improve. So my tangibles, my two tangible tips for this are, again, going back to our generation and millennials and phones and social media. Use social media. I'll use myself as an example. I know I put my Twitter up in the beginning. Up until last year, when I started running this incubator, I think I had like 100 followers on Twitter. I had 20 tweets. I never tweeted. I would favorite a lot. I would use it to connect with friends. Again, I kind of took a turn and realized I could start using this for business. A tangible result. I've had lunch via Twitter, people who I met through Twitter, with 2 guys from Illinois who have sold billion-dollar companies, one for $1.6 billion. He lived in Naperville. I had never met him before. I reached out to him via Twitter. I saw what he was talking about. I jumped into the conversation. Again, pay attention to what other people are interested in. So I didn't hit him up right away and say, hey, I saw you just sold a $2 billion company. You want to have lunch and give me $100,000 for my idea? I saw what he was talking about. I jumped in, I made some comments, I shared some of his articles, some articles that I wrote, I sent to him to get some feedback on. So you use that. I'm not a huge fan of LinkedIn. I'm on it. I made a couple connections from it. For other reasons, I've started experiencing with some paid advertising on there. But it's never a bad thing to have those things. It's never a bad thing to be found. Again, maybe work on, how many of you guys have any type of personal branding outside of social media? Meaning, have any of you guys put up your own portfolio website or personal website or anything? Awesome. What do you use it for? Just a portfolio or for a resume or?
Honestly, I just use this kind of like a portfolio and
Cool. Good. Good. Awesome example. I built mine myself too. And I didn't do that till 8 months ago. And I'm out of college. So I would maybe recommend that too. Again, if any of you are really interested in taking networking and business development seriously, put something up. You could even do it for free, even if you don't buy the domain yourself, which you guys all should go and reserve your full name for your domain name so someone else doesn't take it. I found that out. But again, start putting yourself out there. Have links to all your social profiles. Start networking. Start writing. Again, one of my tips is you don't have to be an expert in everything, but pick one thing that you're interested in or good on. Start writing about it. Writing, speaking are never a bad thing. You can kind of be that thought leader in one of those spaces. And again, you're not talking theoretically. You're talking about how you built your website and that got you an internship. That's a cool story. So social media, utilize it, it's fun. I like going and watching funny Vine videos as well, but use those things for what they are, to connect with people. Meetups, has anyone heard of meetup.com or used meetup.com at all? Was that hand back there? No? When I first heard of it, I thought it was kind of funny because it was a dating site, because you put in your interests and then it matches you to groups in the area who have similar interests. So point being, for Rev3, which I'll talk about in a second, I have a meetup profile where I say we are interested in business development, in technology, in entrepreneurship, and in venture capital. So I put it out there. I grew the meeting from 1 to about 400 members. And now we have people of, again, all different skills that come. I host happy hours, lunches, breakfasts, evening events, technical seminars. And again, now I know 407 more people who I didn't know a year and a half ago. And again, the point being that every time someone comes up, I think of, oh, Jim's the lawyer that I met, so I'm going to refer a client to him. So-and-so is the accountant, so now I get my taxes and business accounting done by one of them. So point being, be niche, get into an area, and network, and start getting yourself out there. I wish that I started earlier. Again, I told you guys up until almost last year of college, I did none of this. So seriously, start now. You will not regret it. Again, offer value again. It's not just make it a two-way street, two-way relationship. Okay, and lastly, focus on your strengths. Again, this is sometimes a controversial one. I talk a lot about being broad-based, having different skills and different skill sets. I argue it is better to be extremely niche and an expert or a thought leader in one realm. So again, I'm really happy that I can do 10 things kind of well, but I think there's 1 to 2 that I do extremely well. Again, focus on those. So if it takes writing a list of your top 10 qualities, or the best thing to get the most honest response, ask one of your business teachers or your friends or parents' friend, whatever it may be, literally ask them to list out your top 3 to 5 qualities, and then maybe that's something you should focus on. Maybe you get the list back and they say you're a good listener, you're a good speaker, you never thought that before. So again, get that feedback early on, and then maybe you go out and explore some items in that. Again, maybe you get feedback in an area, you try it, and find out you don't actually like it, that's fine, you didn't waste that much time on it, go back and try something else. So do one thing really well. Again, you want to know, like in my networks now, I associate everyone with, you know, number one, their personality, how they are as a person, but then kind of their skill set. So again, when I I'll use myself as an example, when I wanted to start my podcast, I had no idea about what microphone to buy, what recording software, how to put it on iTunes, whatever it may be. So I reached out to a guy I met through networking. I knew he had just started a podcast. I asked him, you know, hey, how much did your microphone cost? What's the process like to get on iTunes? So again, then people who are going to start asking me about my podcast, I'm going to refer them back to him, or I'm going to tell them. So it's a circular loop. You always want to have a skill that other people don't have, so then you can go back and leverage that. Find co-founders. Again, I host events called Co-Founders Laboratories, which means I do kind of speed dating or speed networking for people with all different skills. So I'll get people, you know, I'll put the tech person right across from the sales guy or the big personality who has, you know, good sales or distribution skills. And through running Rev3, I have maybe 3 to 5 examples of ideas who were never launched before, who came together, people with different skill sets. That way they didn't have to raise any money, they didn't have to take any loans. They partnered with the tech guy for their app, for their website, and they launched and made kind of an MVP model. Again, then thought leadership. I strongly urge. I didn't really start this actually until 5 months ago. Start journaling about your process of making your idea. Again, going back to that internship story, or you know what you're trying to do with the clean energy. Write about it. Write about your process. Other people really value looking at people who have done it, even if they haven't. You know, they're not at Mark Cuban level, but they're in the process. It's a fun process to track. So connect in with some of these people, and then even more so, you know, you can keep a journal of, you know, day 1 I had an idea, day 10 I'm launching. It's kind of cool. Number 1 to be able to look back on. And then number 2, sharing it for content, whether it's your social media or website, whatever it may be. Now I'm going to transition and kind of talk about what I'm doing currently, so my current capacity. I told you about what I was doing in high school, nothing. What I was doing in college, started my business experience. After college, again, I moved to Washington, D.C. During the presidential election, worked in the Senate, still thought I was going to go back and be a lawyer, and then long story short, I come back and I'm interviewing for a DuPage County job, and they tell me, we see everything happening in the city, we want to create a business incubator and business co-working space. So raise your hand, have any of you actually heard or visited or know what an accelerator, co-working space, or incubator is? Anyone? I'll put you on the spot, you can find it? Yeah.
I have no idea.
What about behind you?
Person, I believe that fosters ideas and takes them to fruition, networks and group together to accomplish things.
Cool, yeah, awesome. So they wanted to do that. I was sitting across from my boss at the time, again, still was applying to law school, fresh off starting my first 2 companies, and I said, that sounds fun. I'd like to sign up for the time. At the time, I had no idea, I couldn't even define the term. A business co-working space, an accelerator, or an innovation hub essentially means, like he said, a place where people congregate with all different skills to start their companies and then to also seek guidance, mentorship, and office hours in some of these skills to build their business. So Rev3 is actually right down the hall. We have about 10,000 square feet here. We partnered with NIU last year, and again, like you heard me say in the beginning of my intro, right now we have 25 different companies. So right now, I'm the director of the center. I have 25 different individuals who have came to the space to start their companies. This ranges everything, I'll show a list of membership in a little, from, you know, you were talking about your personal or your background in New York. I have a young girl who started a fashion company just out of COD, so I have everything from that. And And then I have a $100 million manufacturing company in the space. I have a $10 million software company in the space. So it really ranges. And again, like you defined your definition, it's fun because then you have a built-in network of all these people with different skills. Okay, so like I said, I'll go over some of the background of Rev3. So again, our niche, when we identified our niche, we decided to go after technology and manufacturing, broadly speaking. So again, it's not manufacturing like anything large scale. If you guys have ever played around with seen any 3D printers, rapid prototypes type deals, that's what we're doing. So again, we exist to foster people trying to start their business in that category, and then the long-term hope is they graduate from the space, if you will. It's where the term incubator comes from. When you're big enough, you leave the nest, and then you get your own office. Then you hire people, and then you start your company like that. So that's the background on what that terminology means. Why are we doing it? Currently, there's a gap. Again, right now we're in Naperville. I know, I think a couple of you guys might be from city or Chicago schools. Chicago's doing a great job of this, and not just Chicago. It's a typical coast. So New York and California, Chicago starting to. It's a little harder to get it started out here in the suburbs. So when we started, again, I do business development for DuPage County, which is 39 cities, 1 million people. There's a grand total of 1 of these things at the time. So it was hard getting it started. People, like you guys saw, not many people knew what it was. They didn't know why they needed it. They didn't know why they would need to move their business into the space. So we had an informational curve. I hosted meetings in every single one of the 39 cities. This is where I used the meetup.com. This is how I built our Rev3 network, also built my personal network. I hosted 150 events in the last 18 months. Again, just getting people, like-minded, creative people out and talking face-to-face. What's our goal and goal? We're focused on creating financially viable businesses. Again, in a perfect world, our goal is, you start one of your companies here, you hire a couple people along the way, and then you move out to the county and expand from there. We have some cool partnerships with West Suburban Angels. So again, the #1 question that I get is, hey, I have this idea, how do I get money for it? We have accredited angel investors who not only host live Shark Tank pitch events here, so we do live pitches and business pitch events in this room. We also do office hours. So again, you have to start thinking about, maybe you might need to raise money down the line. And again, now you're networked in with high net worth individuals who can kind of guide you through the process. This is that map like I talked about. So again, in the city, that dot in the city says 55. There's actually 77 now. Obviously, you see the Rev3 stamp. Point being, this is going to continue to be another hot growing topic that I kind of identified early on. And now, through identifying that, I'm in a couple organizations that sponsor these activities. I've been able to link in with them. I was the youngest person running one of these in the United States, so I was able to kind of leverage that to do speaking engagements for them, to teach other people how to run these things. So again, I had no experience in this. I kind of fell into it. I saw it as kind of a niche and kind of tried to work that and be able to leverage that. This is some of our PR and articles. Again, what we're trying to create is an environment of collaboration and community, meaning I have members who are service providers, some are lawyers and accountants, some are true tech people who want to build an app, but they need to partner with a business development person. And again, we can create a positive air of collaboration for them. So on top, that's one of my first companies. This was so cool. It was an Oculus Rift, which Facebook bought for $1 billion some. He was an architect. He made mock-ups of buildings, so like 3, 4, 5-story buildings. You put the goggles on, and you could actually walk 360 degrees through the building using an Xbox controller. So it was like a video game live demo. And again, a guy right in DuPage County was making it. Now he's trying to license it and kind of sell the software. He just needed some of the networking and other help. This is a little bit more about our members. Like I said, we have 25 companies. Over about 60% of them are that solopreneur, meaning they're the only person in their company. I have about 40% of my companies are teams, so they have anywhere from 4 to 6 people. But again, most of these are early because, again, in this day and age, it's extremely easy to start an idea. Some of them even have 9 to 5 jobs. They can only come nights and weekends and test the validity of their idea, like we talked about in the beginning with your social media idea, test it for 6 months. Maybe it fails, maybe you give up, but learn and move on from there. This is a little bit more about our membership, so you can kind of see, again, we have everything from that young girl from a recent college graduate who started her fashion line, to we have that large manufacturing company with 500 employees, but they just put some of their engineers and other entrepreneurs here. We have iOS developers for Android. One of the coolest events we ever did was a Google-sponsored hackathon. So at the time before the Apple Watch was out, we did a Google Android Wear hackathon, and just through that, we were able to bring different skilled people together and create some cool ideas. One of the coolest ideas from that came out, the wearable watches are accelerometers, pedometers, everything else like that. So this guy had a medical background. He figured out he could use the watch to take my heart rate as I'm walking around and talking, and it would basically link to your phone and force you to stay awake when you're behind the wheel. So this hooks up to my map app on my iPhone. So when I get behind the wheel, it detects my heart rate. If my heart rate is too low, it'll give me a buzzing notification and then start calling my phone to basically make sure that I'm awake if I'm driving late or if I'm getting in the car. And again, this is an example of people who never met before and just came together and launched their idea. Again, we have graphic designers and everything in between. This is a little bit more about those events. Like I said, 150-ish in the last 18 months. Everything from the hackathon to happy hours to just getting people out, getting people networking. We've done a lot of app hacks. We've done a lot of 3D printing demos. I do a series where I interview successful CEOs. Another way that I reach out to people that I value and I want to mentor me. I reach out to successful CEOs and CTOs from Motorola, from McDonald's, the tech side of McDonald's, whatever it may be, to come and kind of do a fireside chat and share some of their best. Yes?
Have you ever heard of Ty Lopez?
I'm sorry?
Have you ever heard of a guy named Ty Lopez?
Yeah, have you seen his YouTube commercial? Yeah. What do you think about him? Why are you asking?
I was thinking about entrepreneurship.
Yeah. Yeah, well, maybe we can talk after, but he just said Ty Lopez is a guy who has a YouTube commercial who some people think is kind of a scam because he shows off his Lamborghinis and cars in his garage and he teaches like get rich quick schemes. I don't know, I haven't watched much of his stuff, but that's funny. Yeah?
One of the videos he provides value is on the YouTube channel, follow the YouTube channel.
Yeah.
There's also content. He also puts stuff on his website that he was paying money for. He did a lot of free content.
Yeah. For free? Yes. Yeah, I'll, again, both sides of the coin. Maybe I'll check it out. Okay, we have about 10 minutes left. So I want to go back to someone with an idea. So I'm going to pick on you with your bag line. We're just going to go over. This is the VMC. Raise your hand when I was talking about lean. Have any of you worked with a business model canvas? Raise your hand if you have a business model canvas. This is a much longer discussion, but the short version is instead of writing 65-page business plans, this is what's now being taught in some local colleges and business schools. I will never write another business plan in my life. I will just use this because the point is you could spend a year writing a business plan that might fail after 6 months if you wasted that time. When you can do this, you can see all the 9 elements of your business plan right on one page. So I highly recommend checking more into this if you're serious at all about launching an idea. But I want to go through a live demo and pick on you and just answer a couple questions. So with your company, in the center of the business model canvas, no surprise, is the value prop. That's where everything stems from. So what is your value proposition? Who are you looking to serve, and what are you looking to do with your line, with your brand?
Well, I think it'll go like the women in the city in Chicago or New York. It helps a lot of people, like, because a lot of people don't like wearing, I guess, heels in the city, so they wear shoes and they put their heel on. I think it's work, and I feel like it's in the city.
So comfort, you're providing a sense of well-being or comfort.
Yeah.
What about price? Are you trying to go high, or are you trying to go mass market low?
The maids are about like $3, and we sell them to $25. Most people like getting to the one and said we used to do one for $20 and
32 and you sell for 25? Wow, I want to get in on this business. It's a good margins. So what about, so you just talked about some of your costs. Are the only costs to you? Are you doing any outside marketing, or is it just what your manufacturing costs are?
The only cost right now is like website and then like, yeah, pretty much website. And right now we're trying to like pre-market, trying to get on the see your agent members to really do it. Eventually when you use it, we're really going to get more corporate people and get the things done.
Awesome. And then what about that last one, very important, what about channels? How are you marketing? How are you distributing? How are you getting these out there?
Social media and also like some websites we're on, also some events.
Are you doing any paid advertising on Twitter or Facebook at all? And then let's do one more really quick. What about revenue stream? So is it only a one-time purchase? Do you have any content that you're offering or anything like that? Or is it just a one-time purchase when they purchase again to your
Well,
site?
it's usually one, like they purchase one for most of the time they have 2 or 3 times a year. And then usually they get one for Christmas, especially so those before and like that.
So it seems seasonal almost?
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense. Again, we could talk all day long about this. I've sat through 2-day-long workshops about this. Strongly recommend if you are actually going to try to launch something, whether it's now or in college, use this instead of a business plan. So again, we only have a couple minutes left. I want to do some Q&A. So raise your hand, jump in, tell me about what you're working on. I know I spat out a lot in that 45 minutes, so ask me anything, open to questions. Ask me anything or tell me about something that you guys are working on. Don't be shy, just talk for 40 minutes. Yeah.
I was kind of considering going into corporate law, and I just want to know what I want to turn you off.
Yeah, good question. I took my own advice, and I took my LSAT and score was good for 5 years, so I thought maybe I'll go right into law school. Maybe I will get some job experience first and then apply to, maybe Northwestern or something. I talked to lawyers. I networked. I talked to, people who my dad knew that were attorneys. I reached out blindly. I called some law firms. I interned for free for about 3 months at a law firm. And I told them, I shadowed them. I said, I want to see what you do every single day. And when I saw that it was mostly paperwork, mostly behind the scenes type things and reading and things that I was decent at, but I wouldn't enjoy doing. I would not enjoy doing that for 10 years straight. So again, that was just me and my personality. So again, I strongly recommend reach out. They would love to help. They would take an intern and just literally ask them, what do you do on a daily basis? I want to walk with you for 2 days. So don't give it up until you try that. Yeah.
How would you have a new idea? How would you determine whether or not it's safe?
Good question. Again, the only way is to try. So for example, with my second company, I'm not even out of beta yet. But I define some metrics if I would launch. If I could get 5 social media stars in the first 5 months, I consider that I would make enough money to keep paying for everything. So try to set some metrics up front and then launch and then go back. And if it's worth it and if it's fun, maybe you keep doing it. And if it's not costing you that much money with it.
Well, if you could go that, is there something that would change the process?
Oh, man. I would try more, and I would start early. I mean, honestly, like I said, I built my own personal website only 8 months ago. I've been contacted, and it's horrible, it's bad, but I've been contacted with people saying, hey, I read this public speaking article that you talked about. You come guest lectures. So I've done some guest lectures at COD, North Central, other local colleges to talk to students. Again, I never would have found that. I wasn't putting myself out there. So again, not okay, but try and try sooner. So make a list of ideas and try them. Yeah.
Are you an active reader for VEI?
Yes, I did. Yeah, I'm a big book nerd. Yeah, biographies and business biographies. Yeah, do that. I didn't take any loans. It was all self-funded, and I didn't have free partners at the time. Do not take loans. You don't need it. Yeah. I'm sorry? 25. I'm sorry? Why? Who was your guess? What were you? Nice, good guess. Yeah. The biggest entice to start their own business. Again, try to make your website, get your first customers. Before you have your product, go talk to people who might be your customers and try to sell it. Yeah. One more.
Did you mostly expose your products through social media, or how'd you expose your products through social media?
Social media and trade shows. I visited California. I sold to a store owner. I got myself into 7 stores just by knocking on his door and saying, "Hey, I will pay for these if you give me your store front, put it on your shelf. I'll pay for it, so there's no risk to you." You have to take some risk, but you have to get out there. I did trade shows. I networked with hundreds of thousands of people. Went to conferences. Yeah, you gotta get it out there. I mean, who cares how good or bad your product is if you're not getting it out there? Yeah. Thank you.